Sherrie, there's a lot said about becoming an attraction agent, but to become an attraction agent, that requires a lot of profile marketing.
Yes, no, I agree. And I think as much as everyone wants to be an attraction agent, the reality is that you actually need to get there first. So I think, the first thing you need to do is actually just build up that, I guess, that profile by hard work and by creating, raving mad fans. And then once you've got raving mad fans and they start to give you referrals and then it all starts to come together, and then you start to make money so that you can actually, post on the internet and those sorts of things.
So is it like building blocks? You just start with one, you make the best thing, you do the best you can with that, then you build on it?
Yes, and I think people look at, what they want to do in a year. I don't look at it that way. I'm actually very focused on 3 months, and I use each individual property, I guess, as you talk about, as a block to actually get to the next step, to get to the next step, to get to the next step. So it is very, very specific.
You work in an office that's got some pretty high-profile operators. In fact, some of the best high-profile operators in Brisbane or Queensland, maybe even Australia, who knows? But how do you stand out in that environment? Why would someone come to your office and list with you?
Yeah, you are right. I do work in a remarkable office. And if I may, that's probably one of the reasons why I want to work there, because I actually want to be in an environment where people want to be the best at their craft, and we all want to have that high-performance mentality. I am truly blessed to work in that environment. But I suppose at the end of the day, if I'm coming up against somebody else high profile in my office, quite often what we'll do, rather than fight each other for it, we'll actually just join forces and we'll go for it ourselves. So I think our office has a very different atmosphere to most other real estate agencies, where we're not actually fighting each other. We actually do genuinely want the best for each other.
Sherrie, how important has social media been to you in building your profile?
Well, that's really been a foundation, I suppose, to my business. So I get at least a lead a day from Facebook. Now, some of them may not be my preferred leads, but the reality is that if I'm not able to work it, I might be able to refer it to somebody else in my office or another agency. So I think it is absolutely fantastic. Yeah,
and of course video's given us that opportunity to actually show a lot more personality in what we do. Do you use that in your communication?
Yeah, look, I do. I love video, and I do see the relevance, and I do very strongly believe in video. So as soon as I list a property, I literally do, the 30-second, hold my phone up or my iPad up. And it's really funny, people love those videos. The professional ones, I always get a couple of likes, but I get lots of shares for these 30-second videos that I do. And it's really funny, I literally stand up there, I do one take, and I'm back in the car and I'm kind of running off.
Sure.
But the amount of people that might call me up and say, oh, Sherrie, I don't know if you realise, but you said "and" there a few times, or, so people are actually really watching.
Critiquing you.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's kind of great. But, I'll run into somebody in the street and they'll sort of say to me, hi Sherrie, how you going? I'm like, great, I haven't seen you in ages. And they said, well, I feel like I see you all the time because I watch your videos. So I know that they're actually being used. One of the property that I sold earlier this year, the video was actually shared and I got an offer from somebody else's database, I suppose, on Facebook, which is powerful. You
use video also for seller feedback, don't you?
Yes, I do. So as soon as I finish an open home, I do send a video to my buyers, but I also do send one to sellers as well, because then I'm in the car, they're dying to find out what happened at the open home, and I don't necessarily have a moment to give them a call at that time. Sometimes, I might need to call somebody hot back from an open home 1 or 2 before, but they know that I'm going to get back to them that day, but they've got an immediate response ready to go.
Those videos you do for buyers who come to open homes, are they done for every individual buyer?
Not every buyer, but obviously if somebody has come to a few of my open homes that day, they will actually be more specific, because it's clear that they're a qualified buyer who's ready to go now.
And what do you say to them?
I just generally thank them for their time and for coming through, and see if they have any further interest to give me a call, and letting them know when I'm going to be in contact furthermore.
Have you got a script for that, or is that just done off the cuff?
Well, we do it a lot, so I guess we've kind of become a little bit programmed, but no, it's done off the cuff.
Hello and welcome to our review of auction results in the last week. Joining me just a moment, CoreLogic's Geoff White, who will tell us that Melbourne's up and Sydney's down just a touch. Back in just a moment.
In theory, you run with your legs. In theory, you play the guitar with your fingers. In theory, graffiti is vandalism, and madness is a weakness. In theory, walls are climbed over. In theory, boats don't fly. In theory, molecules are for chemists. In theory, stunts are done by doubles. In theory, you can't impact science before graduation. In theory, you can't score in every match. In theory, you crack under pressure.
And joining me once again, my co-host Geoff White from CoreLogic. Geoff, I guess it could be seen as somewhat alarming there, talking about Sydney results being down. Would you like to qualify that before we go to the results?
Yes, fair enough. Hello, Kevin. Yes, that's really the preliminary number. So if we compare the preliminary number this week, percentage for Sydney compared to the preliminary last week, it's actually 4% down. So it went from 65.9 to 61.9 this week. So that's qualifying your headline there, Kevin. Yep. And by the opposite, Melbourne was 53.4 and it's jumped up to 58.1. Yep. So we'll bring Melbourne up, Sydney down. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first of all, bring up those preliminary results right now. We can see, as Geoff said there, clearance rate preliminary 61.9 for Sydney, 58.1 for Melbourne. Pretty good result for Melbourne.
Yes, it certainly is, and it's certainly starting to show a little bit more strength. I think the Sydney market's been a little stronger throughout this year than in Melbourne across the board, but Melbourne's certainly very stable and increasing slightly. So just running through those again, 61.9 for Sydney, 740 auctions, down a little bit on the week before, but still a pretty good number. Melbourne 58.1, as we said, off 899. Again, the auction numbers were down slightly on the week before, but clearance rates up. Brisbane 28.9 from 127. Now, their preliminary last week, Kevin, was 42.9. Yeah. So there's a significant change there, but auction numbers are 127. Adelaide 57.1 this week off 86 auctions, and Adelaide was 58.2 last week, so pretty stable there in Adelaide. Perth 34.8 from 46. But last week, Perth had a preliminary of 50%, and it ended up finishing at 40% for the week. So that's down a little bit. And Canberra had a pretty weak preliminary last week of 33.3 and has jumped up to 58.3 from 74. So total weighted average 57.2, which is a pretty handsome number, I think, there, Kevin.
Yeah, we didn't get the trifecta, though.
No, we haven't. That's right. But we'll wait. We'll wait for the final numbers during the week. Yes,
right. Yes. Yeah. So we're bringing the final numbers at the end of the week, and we'll see what happens from there. Let's bring up the house and unit data results. We don't show this every week. Just have a quick look at it this week. What do we look for there, Geoff?
Well, I look at the difference between houses and units in some of these capitals, and I'll go to the Sydney one there. You can see that the houses at 62.9, whereas the units are 59.5, and you can see that the houses are up in Sydney compared to units, and the same goes for Melbourne, 59.1 for houses and units 55.9. So. They're the sort of things that I look at, that usually is never the same. There's always a difference. Sometimes units can be a little bit higher than houses and vice versa, but looks like the houses have it this week.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Well, let's take you to the Sydney sub-regions before we take you to the top sales. Let's have a look at the Sydney sub-regions now. Geoff, walk us through this one.
The one that really stands off the page, although the auction numbers were light on for 29 auctions, was the Southwest at 87%. So that's 87% of those that were offered have sold. So that's a very good number. But if you look at the others that we look at each week and see where they're sitting, the North Sydney Hornsby at 130 auctions, 60.8. That's holding quite strong. You look at the likes of the inner areas, inner southwest at 69.2% from 73 auctions, and the city and inner south at 71.9 76.9 from 81 auctions. So again, some really high numbers there into the 70s, and of course that 87. Quite a variance in Sydney at the moment, and some of those sub-regions have been holding for several weeks now. So that's a very good sign.
Top Sydney sale comes out of Wallara, 67 Wallaroy Road, 5,650,000. The agency's Ben Collier selling this one, 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2-car on 524 square metres. A really nice outlook, this one, right across the treetops there, Geoff.
Yes, well, perfect position, an exceptional location. It's a good home from the point of view of its flexibility, and as the agent said, the privacy of the property as well, which is very important in those areas. Has a great formal and informal areas inside, as well as the al fresco zones. A particularly good house in terms of presentation. It offers an abundance of accommodation and really well presented. I'm not sure. It looks like it may have been stylised for the sale. If not, the congratulations to the vendors. It's really well presented, and a lot of rooms there, Kevin. It did offer everything that you want, including double garage, workshop, storage areas, and as you said, the outlook across the treetops, which beautiful. Is something that's absolutely magnificent. Yes. Yeah,
and those bedrooms too. They're really well catered for with natural light, which is something we look for in homes as well. So it's a beautiful home. It's really a family manor.
Correct. That's a good way of putting it, and it's really over 3 levels if you include the lower level as well as the entry and upper levels, and as well as it's got a pool spa area as well. So the gardens, it's all there, and what a great home. If you look at the floor plans, it's a massive room, so a lot of accommodation in this one. Yeah, congratulations to Ben and the team. Yeah,
good on you, Ben. Let's take you to Melbourne now, the sub-regions in Melbourne. Let's bring those up. A lot in the 50s, 60s, nothing cracking up into 70% there, Geoff?
No, that's the difference that we're seeing. We're seeing the odd sub-region in Sydney into the 70s and of course that 87 we saw this week. But Melbourne's different. It certainly, it's only got one sub-region under 50%, so that's good. Last week the West was down, and this week the West is 50.6 from 111, so that's come back up again this week. But the inner suburbs, again, holding strong. Inner 54.1 from 175 auctions. The inner south, 59.8 from 174 auctions. Inner east has been really holding well this year and topped the 60 on these preliminary numbers, 61.6 from 107. So, and some outer east and southeast areas also we into the mid to high 60s. So a very, very stable sub-region of Melbourne, except for the Mornington Peninsula, but auction numbers were down there with 31.3%. But good solid performance from Melbourne sub-regions.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, top Melbourne sale was out of Surrey Hills, another Surrey Hills in Sydney and in Melbourne. So this one, 26 Everton Grove, 2,690,000. This one sold prior by Ray White Baldwin, sold on the 3rd of April, Bronwyn Lucas and Bei Cheng. 5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, 2-car. Brand new, this one, north facing, and this one also, Geoff, includes a ground floor guest suite as well.
Yes, a lot of accommodation, and Surrey Hills in Melbourne's a very tree-lined, leafy area and a terrific location. Brand new, so, and a lot of accommodation when you think 5 beds, 5 baths. So, yes. It's a particularly good home, well presented. Obviously being that stylised with some furniture, etc., being brand new. But again, it's got high ceilings, it's got parquetry floors, it's got terrific accommodation throughout, big rooms, natural light, state-of-the-art kitchen, bathrooms, and a sizable allotment for a lot of house there. Particularly given the size of the house. So it still has some outdoor areas and a very good location from the point of view of schools and transport and getting into the city. So, yes, well done to the guys at Ray White Baldwin, Bronwyn and Bay. Yeah.
So that was the top sale of the week, as we said, sold prior. There was a sale under the hammer, just a touch under that one. Marshall White selling a property at 90 David Street, Hampton, for $2,540,000. So we thought we'd just mention that one as well.
Yeah.
It wasn't the top sale, but certainly was the top sale under the hammer on the weekend. We're going to come back in just a moment. We'll take you to the top Brisbane sale, the top Adelaide sale, and we'll do a wrap on the week as well. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to the show, and let's have a look at the top sale out of Brisbane. This one sold by a good mate of mine, actually, Graham Hills. Graham and his son David from Harcourt's Results, $2,200,000 for a property at 15 Scenic Road in Kenmore. David and Graham from Harcourt's Results in Callumvale. 6-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2-car. A huge block of land, this one, 10,640 square metres. Very sought-after location. Needs a bit of work, this one, probably. But, gee, can't you tell the dry conditions here, Geoff, just looking at some of those photos? Pretty dry.
Yes, that's right. It's very dry. And that's, although the photos, elevated shots looking down onto the property show clearly the size of the allotment. But, it looks like it could do with some water there. But, this is obviously a development opportunity, or particularly to keep the bones of the house and renovate it. It's being just over a hectare and represents great opportunity for developers or investors, renovators, whatever you want to do. Kenmore location, it's a great location, close to the river and about 10 k's from the CBD. So it's a very good location there. And the house itself, whilst we're probably saying giving words that probably indicate that it's not that good inside. It's just dated, but very clean and presentable, and you could live in it as you wanted to, and then do the renovation later. But a particularly good result there from David and Graham, and congratulations, a great result.
Indeed, it is. Top sale out of Adelaide, 309 Gillies Street in Adelaide, $1,200,000. Fox Real Estate, classic home. This one, beautiful tree-lined street in Adelaide. All very close to cafes and parks, 231 square metres, 2-car, 1-bath and 3-bed. Georgie Todd and Henry Gower Tillett selling this one for Fox Real Estate, Geoff.
Yeah, isn't this delightful?
Just beautiful.
It's a real classic, built in the 1880s, a particularly good home. It's had a lot of money spent on it, obviously, and has a lot of accommodation, 3-bed, 1-bath, but it's in a position that it is actually Adelaide. It's not a suburb, it's Adelaide, and got the parks and everything close by. 231 square metres. It's got, a marble entrance and French provincial style kitchen and stainless steel appliances, all of the things that you'd want. And it has ducted reverse cycle, rear lane access, which is really important. You look at the property and think, where do you park the car? Well, you go back around the back lane, and you've got some parking accommodation around there, all the granite bench tops, and there's a lot of accommodation here with this one, and just the style, and one to die for, this one. Absolutely. And as we've been saying, Kevin, value for money. What a terrific opportunity to get right in amongst the heart of Adelaide, and for a bit over $1 million, and have this sort of property. Terrific buying, and but a great result.
Yeah, haven't all the properties too been well presented? This one is classic of that. Yeah. The presentation of these homes is really stunning. Before we finish up, I just want to take you to the clearance rate, the rolling averages, and there she goes. Bit of a jump. The weekly auction clearance rate's going to be carrying that 4-week average up again, which is really good news, Geoff.
Yeah, that's right. You can see that little thin line there going straight up, and that's as a result of the weighted average this week. So it'll be interesting to see the final and just see where that sits, because it'll slowly creep darker. But it's heading north, and that's what we thought may have happened, and it certainly unfolded that way this year, Kevin. So good result for the market, I think, to come back into this year and see some stability and growth in the auction market, which is which is really good and what people were wanting to see.
Yeah, just before we go to Geoff, I just wanted to quickly mention that I was privileged to be asked by the owner of a property up in Tamborine Mountains to help out with an auction over the weekend. So I was fortunate enough to be able to go up and have a look at it. I've got to say too, I've got to make special mention of the agent, Shane O'Mara from Harcourt's Tamborine Mountains. They did a great job, Geoff, and it's nice to, you and I report on auctions and we look at results, but I was involved in this auction right from the moment it was first listed right through to the sale under the hammer yesterday, just to experience what it's like from a seller's point of view. I certainly wasn't the seller, I was just helping the seller. But, to have a good agent on your side, and Shane certainly is a very good agent, the reporting, the level of reporting, the information was absolutely spot on, enabled the seller to be, very accurate about the prediction of what the sale price would be. There was good competitive bidding, and the auctioneer, Christian Hamilton, did a great job. A lot of skill involved in this. And you and I, as I said, we report on these results every Monday, but we've got to give mention to the agents who put all this together, because there is a huge amount of work that goes into putting these sales together, Geoff.
Yeah, we've just under 2,000 auctions around the country this week. So that happens just every minute of every day on the weekends, and I'm just so pleased to see the level of standard of auctioneers and estate agents and the use of data and information and the way they communicate. Yes. In the main, it's exceptional, and they do a really hard job. And in this market, it's been pretty tough, and they do their very, very best to get the best results for their vendors. And so congratulations to the agents out there on upholding the professional standards of the industry, and well done.
Yeah, Christian Hamilton, who I mentioned is the auctioneer, he's the auctioneer for Harcourt's Queensland, their trainer. Young guy, early 20s, but so much skill, so much confidence, and I love that in this new generation of agent coming through. They really do know how to communicate well. And even talking to some of the agents after the auction as well, Geoff, some of the things that they're doing in terms of how they're working with buyers and sellers now, so different from how it has been done over the last 20 or so years. So, a great level of professionalism coming in. So congratulations once again to Shane and Christian and all the team there from Harcourt's at Tamborine Mountains. I just wanted to quickly mention that.
Yes, well done.
Hey, Jeffrey, time to go, mate. We're going to come back on Friday, of course, with the benefit of the knowledge coming from CoreLogic. We'll give you the final numbers for the week, and we, of course, do report the full week, not just the weekend. So if you're wondering why the numbers are a little bit different, it's because we look at the results for a full week. Hey, Geoff, thank you for your time, mate, and we'll look forward to catching up with you on Friday.
Yeah, cheerio, Kevin. All the very best.
I'm Kevin Turner. I look forward to seeing you as we roll out more shows during the week, and certainly with Geoff White again on Friday. See you then.
Evening, Clara. Home, please.
David, what's on your mind?
I was just thinking of a different time is all. It was a time when I used to sit up there, Driving wasn't just about being taken from place to place, but going somewhere. Feeling something along the way.
Please, David, you should relax.
I'm afraid that's just the problem.
David, where are you going? David? David?